Now, Knicks had another big injury in their last game of the homestand. OG Anunoby left the game with a hamstring injury. It's a hamstring strain. The reports came out that he will be reevaluated in 2 weeks. Now, that's just being reevaluated, Howard, but he did leave another game with another hamstring issue. That's going to raise some red flags. How worried should Knicks fans be about his durability and then what it means for the defensive floor? Because he's been absolutely their best defensive player through the first 12 games of the season.
He's been their best defensive player for the last couple of years since they got him, I
Yeah.
think, right? I
Yeah.
mean, um, this is tough. I don't want to get hyperbolic here. I'm not trying to be hot takey, but in some ways, OG Anunoby is as much or even more irreplaceable than Jalen Brunson. You can find other ways to score on this team. Not long term. Obviously you need Jalen Brunson if you want to be a contender. You can find other guys who can handle the ball, who can make plays, and who can score. It's hard to find anybody else who can do what OG Anunoby does and who can basically guard five positions and is one of their top rebounders and is just so strong and so athletic and can do so many things. Obviously, great scorer in the open court, good shooter. He's become an offensive force for them as well. I just don't see where you replace him. He's not replaceable. They don't have that many defensive wings to pick up the slack. I was looking up and down the roster, thinking about like just kind of the domino effect and like who do you shuffle in and what's the domino effect of all right, OG's not here, you shift Bridges to some of his assignments. He's probably your better one of your better wing defenders. It's probably more Landry Shamet and more Deuce McBride and some others. You've got a lot of guards, but you really don't have a lot of guys at the forward spots who can pick it up. And on top of that, Mitchell Robinson is still limited. He's under this load management program after his offseason surgery. So not a lot of places to go for defense, not a lot of places to backfill the front court. I think they're going to miss OG quite a bit.
I get the sense of what you're saying there, Howard, is that in a way the OG injury concerns you more than the Brunson injury, because that's how I feel about it. I think it's more almost, I know it's weird to say because Brunson's the best player, but because
Yes.
because of what you said in OG's defense being virtually irreplaceable, I do think his injury is more concerning. And also that now we're talking about, and this is no shade to these players, we're talking about Pacome Dadier, right? Whereas possibly maybe getting some minutes there if needed. I'm not saying you would. I think maybe you're shifting Josh Hart to the starting lineup. You talked about Deuce McBride, Landry Shamet getting some more minutes. I've even heard some fans tweet at me and say Mohamed Diawara, and I'm like, that's asking a lot. I see your face, Howard. That's
I think
asking
I'm
a
going
lot.
to I think I'm going to Gershon Yabusele
Yeah.
before some of those guys. But yeah, I mean, and he's one. Look, Yabusele was one of the big offseason pickups, right?
Yep.
And he's been kind of a footnote in Mike Brown's rotation so far. So this is, I think, certainly going to be his opportunity to show that he is valuable enough that he should stick. They're going to need him. They just don't have a lot of big bodies, and certainly not tested big bodies. The guys you just mentioned, all the youngsters. Fans always love the young guys. There's a reason those guys aren't playing much.
Yeah, and they still have to grow. So I guess that brings me to this. If Brunson and Anunoby are limited, looks like they both will be out for an extended period of time. That's what it looks like right now. Who's the player that you believe must shoulder the biggest load offensively for the Knicks during this period?
It's interesting because I think they almost have to like lean even more into their identity as an elite offensive team. I don't think they can make up for this defensively, right? You cannot replace OG as we've just been discussing. It's almost like you need to score even more or more efficiently. So lean that much more into your offensive identity. That may mean, excuse me, a lot more of same suspects: Bridges, Shamet, McBride. Um, you're just going to need to be that much more potent because you cannot replace what you've lost with OG Anunoby defensively. Karl Anthony Towns, we always want more defense from Cat. And again, if Brunson is out, if your question is where do they turn to for more offense, you know, Cat is your other elite offensive player. He does not create on his own very much. He's a big. You got to get the ball to him, but I would certainly look to feed him quite a bit, and he can, make plays himself as well. He's a very capable passer and playmaker. You can play through him a bit, But I think, Towns and Bridges are the guys who are going to have to pick up a lot of the slack offensively without Brunson. And then defensively, they're just going to have to be on a string.